Aloha, beautiful pod. Unity, grace, miracles, and cosmic love here. We're going to change our name today. There's lots coming through, and we're actually in a silent retreat today, but it was something really significant to share. Aloha, Missy Lana. And the hummingbirds will probably come into this transmission today because we're right by a bunch of hummingbird feeders, so we welcome those beautiful beings. So we love we so much, and we Golden Pod, meaning our human family, are taking incredible quantum leaps right now. And we, over the last few miracle days, have been offering an online meditation, and it's called Into the Deep, and we did 11 a.m. and an 11 p.m. meditation with whoever wanted to join globally yesterday. And we also launched it Friday on Spreaker, and it's a super powerful transmission that was brought through at a stupa of enlightenment, even though places aren't real and all those things. It's very, very powerful. So, we invite anyone who is listening to this Lovestream to check the link. It's in the notes for Into the Deep, and it's on YouTube, and we'll make it available again on Spreaker as well. And it's a super powerful transmission. So it helps us to go right into the quantum really quick. So the oracle is always on the cutting edge of human consciousness, and the oracle has a capacity to transmit in the space between the words the edge of that source consciousness, that cutting edge place. If you think this love stream is going to be inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. And if you're inspired to support these amazing transmissions in other ways, you can write to me or PayPal and all those amazing things too, because there's lots going on right now. So if you have creative gifts and skills and all that kind of stuff, it's fun to collaborate. So what I'm guided to share today, and like I say, it was when I woke up this morning, I was guided to do a few days of silent retreat, going back into fasting right now and all that good stuff. And but here we are talking because this is a really significant piece to share. Oh, the little hummingbird is right over our head. I'm sure you can hear it. Don't want to disturb it. Okay. So, yeah, if you're looking for an added step up into the quantum field to break through patterns or, density that you may still be trying to move through, Into the Deep is an incredible meditation to take you there instant. So now what the guidance is showing us, and if we were to go back into the story of the genetics, the fourth gene is the gene of forgiveness. And what that means in the highest frequency is the release of the global karmic and financial debt. That's what we're seeing playing out in some level of our reality. And then after that happens, and that's why we move into a gifting frequency. That's why we're seeing so many people on social media now, like just sharing their gifts, yoga, breath work, transmissions, singing, all that kind of stuff. So humanity starts to gift forth their energy. This is the breakthrough. The reason that humanity was in so much debt on this planet and agreed to external debt was because of a lockdown of our energy. So we believed that we were in a reality that was dangerous and that there was an external authority, and so people held their energy back. So all of humanity is fully responsible for the global karmic and financial debt that was occurring on the planet. So that's why we, Miracles in Cosmic Love, has walked around the planet for 12 years role modeling gifting, open sourcing what we have to give. And when more people realize that everything that we could possibly need is provided, and especially when we open source our gifts, because gifting comes back to us in all ways, And so now everyone is just starting to get a little bit less afraid of each other, a little bit more comfortable and trusting that Source has our back and is gifting the energy. Each individual on the planet has their own unique gifts to give. And so it's so beautiful when people start going, well, you know, I mean, if it took a quarantine, which I call quantum, quarantine equals quantum, to put people into their own spaces to then help them realize that they could still give their gifts without that middleman called money being the primary foundation of why we would share our energy. We're not saying money's bad, it's just another part of an imaginary reality. But people are learning now to share, open source their energy ourselves. We have been going through the opening of the heart over these last many miracle years. 2019 was the to have us open our heart to be prepared. In the Hopi prophecy, it's said, and we share this all the time, but the Hopi prophecy was predicting the script in the play that was coming. The red hats will fall from the sky in a day and deliver onto us a reality we would not choose for ourselves. Our survival would be contingent on the quality of our hearts. So everyone, if our heart is not open yet, our heart is being pried open now. And that piece about our survival would be contingent on the quality of our heart is when we start to realize that it's safe to share the truth of who we really are. It's safe to share our energy. And that is what truly unlocks global karmic and financial debt. Not some outside middleman, not some government, not some bank collapsing or giving handouts. This piece of humanity waiting for handouts of finances, money, is the biggest folly for humanity to hold back on truly graduating, truly accelerating our process on the planet. The handout is you and me going, it's safe to share the truth of who I am. It's safe to share the gifts that are inside of me. And our survival is contingent on the quality of our heart. The prophecy said that for a reason. And so that's why it's so beautiful now to see so many people stepping forth and sharing their gifts. And so this miracle morning, after doing our global gatherings with the Into the Deep meditation, once again, the link is in this Lovestream if you're just tuning in. If you want to check out that meditation transmission, it takes you into the quantum like that. Once you're in the quantum, then what? Well, what's happening, because that meditation is becoming more and more powerful, it's a morphogenic field, and more people are joining that meditation globally because, quite frankly, we, Miracles in Cosmic Love, think it's probably one of the most powerful things on the planet out there right now to unlock the human bioenergy field. And you know, we say this with great humility because we are a vessel of the transmission, and when we tune back into the transmission that comes through, and listen to it, and we go like, holy wow, that's potent, because it's coming from source, it's coming from somewhere else, it's coming from the wholeness of who we are, and it's helping to unlock us. If you think this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. Okay, so as we start to find ways to unlock our DNA, to open ourselves up, to break the bonds with H2O, which is duality. That's what H2O means, is duality. So we're in the process of breaking our bonds with H2O. That's why the universe took us all to learn to begin to meditate with water together on the planet. Moving those little messages out of the way, so that we could become really familiar with water, so that we could then take a graduated leap into plasma fields. And plasma fields are where thought begins to form instantaneously in the palm of our hand. So what you may notice if you've been participating in the Into the Deep meditations is it's unlocking your consciousness, and you may be feeling a lot of energy surging through your body. So we have a few suggestions for that. At least get your feet in cold water. If you can, put your entire body in cold water. If you want to dive into cold water, that's what we've been doing. here in the beautiful, miraculous mountains of the crystalline corridor of creation, going into cold water every morning, natural cold water. You can do it in the shower. If you have a spray nozzle, start with your feet and work your way up, just like lymph massage. Okay, these are helpful ways to deal with all of the energy that's coming into our physical bodies. This is transfiguration. It's light body activation. And, you know, maybe we didn't learn these things in school, so we're sharing them now. Water is very significant, and hot water is not necessarily the best for the body right now because there's so much heat going through our body. So try the cold water plunges, and also the ask and it is given. So one of the things, Derek, hi, let's make that movie we set out to make in 2011 called Awaken. Let's do it now. Yeah, how do we deal with all the energy coming into our body? We go back to our tool, ask and it is given. So as all you know who may be following these love streams, aloha Solange, anyone who might be following these love streams, we've taken everyone back to the simple teachings of Esther Hicks, because Esther Hicks taught us the law of attraction in the most simplistic way. She really dialed it in. Ask and it is given. So we are the ones that are, you know, driving these light ships while they're going through transfiguration. This is not new stuff, even though we're quantum and new isn't real because there's no such thing as timelines. But these are the practices of many traditions currently existing on the planet, the traditions of the Essenes, the Cathars. Many traditions knew how to go through light body activation like it was a natural thing to experience, because in fact it is. We just maybe got a little bit slowed down on the planet, and now we're moving back into the mechanical steps of light body activation and transfiguration. So ask and it is given. If you're finding difficulty in your body integrating the energies that are coming in, the Schumann resonance of the earth, which we are made of, is also taking these quantum leaps. Ask and it is given. Ask regularly. I'm asking for this to be a little bit less intense on my body. I'm asking to feel a little bit more joy in this process. And then, as we always say, because we always go back to reminding us what are the teachings of the law of attraction that Esther has brought through, ask and it is given. And then the art of allowance. So once I ask, I'm asking for this to be a little bit more easeful on my body. Take a breath and allow, because we'll discover that instantaneously the universe has responded to support us in this light body transfiguration process. You have to open to allow. So take that breath after each ask. Ask all day long, all day miracle. But add the art of allowance. Take that breath after we ask, so that we can actually feel the shift come in. And then ask again, ask and ask again. If it's really intense what we're experiencing, ask for a little bit. I'm asking to feel a little bit more happy, a little bit less intensity in my light body activation right now. A little bit can actually really help, because it gives us, our brain, our mind loves a biofeedback loop. So the moment it gets biofeedback, it goes, this really works. This is how we integrate mind, body, spirit, use all of our intelligent systems together to be in the center of our mothership, because each one of us is in the center of our light ship, and we're learning how to drive it as we become more energy again, less physical, less form, and more energy, because this is what ignites the interdimensional qualities. People call it multidimensional. I like the word interdimensional. And so it takes us back into these realms within, how to think golden apple and produce golden apple in the palm of the hand, how to move in and out of time and space at will. Like this is the online, this is the beautiful teachings that it's time to come back to. It's a miracle to come back to, because it's where the fun is at. So if this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. If you're just tuning in, please check the link for the Into the Deep transmission meditation, because that will assist you to go into the quantum like that. So let's talk about that for a minute. We've been in a lot of density. We lived in a lot of density. There was a lot of density in the realms that we were living in. And I love seeing the hashtags. Back in February or January, we started saying hashtag the or the heaven into everything, the out of everything, or the heaven into everything. And so on a lot of the love streams, people were really hashtagging, and it was really cool because it was like it was forming a different language in the space between the words. So I love seeing when people are all hashtagging on here. It's great. Okay, density to light, form to formless is what is happening. And so another part of this form to formless, which is why we shared the Into the Deep transmission meditation globally, publicly. It's available for everyone. Please share it if you find it inspiring, and invite others to join you in the meditation, because when we invite ourselves to come together in groups, that creates morphogenic fields. Morphogenic fields go quantum because it's collective agreement into those fields. The morphogenic fields that we love to play in are cosmic quantum fields of creation, meaning the remembrance that we're thought in form, and we can create whatever realities we choose to create and where we place our focus on. So the Into the Deep really helps us to find spaciousness in the density that we've been living in. The density has occurred through thought. And thought through, when we continue to place our thought on something, it makes something real. Over time, when we continue to place our thought on the same thing, that reality becomes denser and denser and denser. When it is, hummingbird. It's so, oh my gosh, what a gorgeous little hummingbird. Never seen that color before. They're magical. Come in and have a little food. Okay, so density, it occurs by us placing our focus on something. I think you can hear that little hummingbird. And when we place our focus on something in a positive way, it can stay very, very light. When we place our focus on something in a heavier way, then it becomes heavy as well. That is what we have collectively been working to unplug our energy from, not give our consent to, pulling our agreement away from those realities, which is why we're seeing the quantum shift. Yay, pod, we're doing it. And now we're in this, we're just starting to come to the very cutting edge, or the event horizon of the new possibilities. And maybe the mind can't imagine what those possibilities are. So it's very exciting. It's unfamiliar territory. That's okay. Some people know how to navigate it better than others. And it's very comfortable territory for we miracles and cosmic love, beauty, grace, because we spend a lot of time there. And so it's a joyous place to play. So it's time to celebrate. It's a miracle to celebrate. So once we find ways to become more quantum and into the deep, that meditation is very helpful. Now we're starting to become more expansive. We were used to very linear ways of thinking, maybe very dense ways of thinking, very patterned ways of behaving. And so the whole personality, 2001-9, 2001-8, was truly about helping us to unlock from our personality, from our ego. And the ego resided in linear time and pattern behavior and systems and all those things. So it's all unraveling. And so it's exciting. It's so exciting. And so I am very excited to continue to collaborate with those who want to stay on the cutting edge of what's really unfolding and take these quantum leaps, activate our supernatural capacities. So once those particles of our personality and our agreement with our personality and our agreement with external systems begins to lighten up, loosen up, now we have hummingbirds flying over our head as a reflection. And so now there's all these realms of intelligence, systems, communication that want to come in. So if you're one of the ones like we, Miracles and Cosmic Love Under the Stars, calling in all benevolent star nations, that means Alvins, that means Fae, that means all of these realms of intelligence. It means our star families. It means our galactic systems. We're calling it in. If we're calling it in, here's the thing. We, in order to, it's like tuning the dial on a radio station. In order to begin to empower those realities to come into form, it is necessary for us to place our focus on the particles of creation that are communing with us now. So we talk often about the adamantine particles of creation. Adamantine particles of creation are the particles that they're golden, tiniest particles of creation, and they interface with something that we call love. So we're all learning what love really is on a galactic and cosmic scale. It doesn't mean all of the false relationships that we've had that we thought were love, or being nice, that's not love. Love is about neutrality in the field so that the aura goes quantum. That's cosmic love. And that allows us our birthright as sovereign beings to begin to interface with and to transcend our bondage to physicality, to transcend our bondage to Terran beings, meaning of the earth. It's beautiful. We love this garden, and we're not meant to be bound by it. And so the shifting of the consciousness is what begins to open the gates to these sovereign birthrights. So the Schumann resonance took more leaps. We're into the deep. We're expanding because we're letting go, because the universe forced us if we didn't know how to let go of the things that weren't working and the things that weren't right, and the agreements that we had with systems that are old indoctrinated systems that no longer serve the well-being of the whole. And these particles are now communicating with us in the quantum, not like they haven't before. It's just on a mass collective consciousness scale. This is a very significant transmission because the next quantum leap, so to speak, for us occurs through our communion with the particles of creation that are now flowing in. So we are used to interacting with humans and personalities and systems and structures, and even the garden as we might think it is. We're used to interacting with, we loved it listening to Esther Hicks last night, and other times she talks about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. There's Grumpy and there's Happy and there's whoever, I don't know their names. But she was taking us back to remember in a very effective way that our personalities have been based on a whole mix of archetypal qualities of what human is, and those archetypal qualities are now falling away. They're dissolving away in totality. And so the consciousness, if you think of the consciousness as being inside of the vehicle of a body and a personality, and this Lovestream is inspiring, please share it, that's called gifting. If you think of the consciousness as being inside of a body and a personality, and that body and that personality is now dissolving away, our consciousness is that aspect of ourself that is omniversal. It's always in existence. And I don't like words like eternal or immortal. They just don't cut it for me. Wholeness and curiosity is what I have experienced when I've gone through all the stargates, when I have gone into those places inside of myself. So the consciousness, if you think of particles coming together in agreement to create form, and we're leaving old form systems, structures, personalities behind, we are, the hummingbirds are coming with. Our consciousness is now kind of like the visual would be. It's like the particles are dissolving of this, and the particles are forming over here of this. The reality that we're all calling in, that was inside of us, that evoked us to make all the shifts and changes that we've been making in our realities for so long. So if you just start to, let's say you're in meditation, maybe you're lying down, or at bed when you go to, at night when you go to bed, or when you wake up in the morning, you can practice this. What's over here is the old me, or the existence that I knew, and you can just see yourself in that, and then just imagine those particles diffusing and getting farther and farther apart. And then over here on this side, there's the same diffusion of particles, and let's make them golden, because they are golden particles all around us, diffused and spacious. This is where we're drawing our consciousness out of, diffused. This is where our consciousness is going, diffused particles. So it's all equal. That means love. So the consciousness now can begin to commune with these particles over here. This is just a way of describing it, but the consciousness can now begin, and this is what came in with so much potency this morning after doing the Into the Deep meditation 3 times over the weekend miracle with the collective in the morphogenic field, and watching how it just took us into the quantum, which is the formless. And so this miracle morning, the guidance was going, okay, now invite the consciousness to come here now. So there are all of these particles that are communicating with us, and the particles are the gateway to the new realities in form. Hashtag that, someone please. The particles, or quotation mark it. The particles are the new gateways. The particles are the gateways to the new realities in form. So many miracle coordinate years ago, we Miracles in Cosmic Love started sharing the word, the Sophionic harmonic. The guidance came through many years ago and said, Sophia is not feminine, as we know feminine to be. Sophia, from a cosmic perspective, is a harmonic, where the particle and the wave converge, where the particle and the wave exist simultaneous. That's quantum. That is the gateway where the consciousness manifests form, instantaneous, simultaneous. And the Sophionic harmonic is the gateway that permits our consciousness to begin to play with other realms of form. So no more bondage. Thank you, Manai, for putting that in quotes. The Sophionic harmonic is the gateway. This is the adamantine particle. They love Sophia, because when we find the Sophionic harmonic inside of ourselves, where the particle and wave converge, we are pure love consciousness. And in that space of pure love consciousness, there's actually nothing to bring into form, because it is the wholeness of understanding the construct of creation itself. And so from that place, anything is possible, and simultaneously there is no will or desire to bring anything into form, because it's pure bliss, but the consciousness is in full conscious existence of all that is. So we hear about gatekeepers, we hear about the kochinas and all these different things. The gatekeepers, these aspects inside of ourselves that are structures that we are now aligning with to find the harmonic inside of our own form. That's why we say everything is inside of us. There is no external authority outside of ourselves. We are all sharing our understanding of how to do this for those of us who are cosmic quantum creators. There's no authority outside of ourselves. We're going to talk about that for a miracle coordinate, about stories and storytelling. But first of all, back to the Sophionic harmonic piece and the kachinas and the gatekeepers and the stargates. It's all within ourselves. This is why we prayed a mass transformation into the planet, so that we could liberate ourselves from the pressure of the financial world and making money, because the playing field got equalized and pretty much no one on the planet is making money anymore, so to speak. That whole phrase, making money. We're going back into the true elixir, which is our energy, our substance itself. And we are beginning to restore our relationship with the essence of who we are, and that's golden. That's superabundance. So the invitation is to spend many miracles inward. And an inward doesn't have to be sitting in a dark room. Inward can occur simultaneous to being in the garden or being with others. But it is a turning back of our consciousness inside of ourselves to have that awareness of what's going on within us while perceiving the external simultaneous. These are all practices for quantum itself. Okay, so when we woke this rose this miracle morning, this piece about the particles that are reaching out to us for communion and communication. This is such an exciting, wonderful thing. The guidance is going, all of your dreams are already there, fam. That's why they're drawing us forward in the most harmonic way. And what that means, harmonic way, means it's not coming from the mind. It's coming from this knowing within the self that we're taking a graduation, we're moving into new creations, new existences, new realities. So it's a harmonic that keeps going, come this way, because it feels so good inside of the self, not from the mind saying this is a good thing to do or whatever, but from the place of a harmonic that is pulling us. Music of the spheres, that's what we're a part of. This little hummingbird that keeps flying over top of we. It's so wonderful. It's playing the music of the spheres, and the music of the spheres is calling each one of us, because we have a personal relationship with Source that is calling us forward. So the particles now are communing with us, those particles that will become form of our new realities. And so the invitation from the guidance this morning was, hang on, we have to get a little bit more comfortable. Hi, there's a little bumblebee that just landed right on my leg. Hi. He's getting comfortable within himself. Don't walk down my boot. We're having a communion with a little bee. Excuse me. Hello. That is not really good, but excuse me. Un momento. You can't sit on you, little bee. There. The little bee was going right under my bottom, and I didn't want to sit on it. So, so cute. Little bees and the hummingbirds are participating. All right, fam. So, if we're doing this process together, and we're going quantum, and we're going into the deep by unplugging or giving more spaciousness to the particles of the density of our form, next step that goes with it is this amazing part of just breathe. Sit still and breathe. And begin to open to the particles, these golden adamantine particles. If you participated in the golden meditation and the into the deep meditation, guaranteed, these golden particles are participating with you now. And so we Miracles in Cosmic Love are just helping the fam to bring awareness to these golden particles, so that we can begin to interface with them now. So you can ask and it is given. I am asking these golden particles to be more present in my awareness, or for my awareness to be more aware of the golden particles of communication that are coming in. And I promise you, because it was a miraculous morning, I promise you, you will be in bliss, because these are all of the realms that are the realities that already exist. So we're asking for contact. Contact begins like this. That would be a great hashtag. Contact begins like this. The contact is now here fully, and we're going like, we want to see the star nations in the skies. Contact is already happening. So we are moving our consciousness from all of this over here, out of our old personalities, our old bodies, and we're tuning our dial to this. Adamantine particles, the golden particles. So tune your dial into the golden particles that are communing with you. Tune in. Ask to tune into them, and of course, you know, everyone's getting the ringing in their ears, and if you haven't had it all your life, it's happening to everyone now. That's communication that is coming through sound. Color, light, and sound create form. We're in a divine hologram, and so we are attuning now where we are putting our focus and our awareness, so that this communication can begin to come in strongly and these realities begin to take form. We're like literally right now, we're lucid in our dream, and we're like right in the center of stepping out of this scene and stepping onto another set. This is a really profound transmission, because I'm seeing it. And so what we want to do is we want to move the human collective en masse. If you love this love stream, please share it. Monet, I love you. Thanks for putting those in quotes. If we want the human consciousness to take this move en masse. And so it's like this grand divine moment of moving off this old stage and moving on to this other one. And as we know, it doesn't take the masses to do it. It just takes a few enlightened beings to share the information coming through. So we see for sure, we knew another transmission meditation was going to come through quickly, and probably come through today. It's already coming through this. And we will create that in a way that's available to the collective, just like we did with the Into the Deep. So for those of us who are tuned into this amazing love stream transmission together, and it's obviously a lot of golden beings, because the transmission is always based on who shows up. All of us, let's just do an ask right now. We are asking for clear cosmic communication with these adamantine particles, these golden particles of creation that are now coming in. Ask and it is given. So let's just take a moment and breathe. I don't know about you guys, but like I am feeling so blissed with this. Because the golden meditation that we did on Miracle Monday of last week was to move our consciousness out of serpentine carbon kundalini and move it into the golden aspects of what this is. I can't remember if the golden meditation is available or not, but we will make it available to all through Spreaker. And so yeah, that transmission took us out of the serpentine kundalini, which never resonated for many of us a lot. Took us into the golden particles, and the golden particles are blissed. Jonathan Berry. So the golden particles are asking us now to tune our dial, tune our consciousness, tune our energy into this. Oh my gosh. In totality, like I woke up this morning, the guidance said, today you're going to be in a silent retreat, except for this love stream. and this love stream, because when the transmission is coming through, we's consciousness is up there seeing what is actually coming through and where we are. This is a huge quantum leap. Huge. So the golden particles of creation are now leading our consciousness through the door into the realms of form that are already in existence. And when we tune into them now, as we're dialing our consciousness station down from the old, remember, the old can be a great distraction. So just play with this, have fun with this, ask and it is given. Ask these golden particles to show you the way into the new realities of form that we know are calling us all the way, because reality is holographic and it's based on where we place our focus, and it's based on agreement. And we are a whole lot more formless than we are form. So we are now truly getting our the gateways are opening for this flooding into our form of our true formless nature, which is quantum and has the capacity to step in and out of time and space at will and into new realities. So another piece that we are guided to share, and if this love stream is inspiring, please share, that's called gifting, and we can see for certain this is like an extremely profound gate that we are going through together. So here's another piece. Now, we started out by talking about the fourth gene about forgiveness of global karmic and financial debt. That's the first aspect of the acidic state of that gene. Once that happens, once we release global karmic and financial debt, and in this transmission, we could equate that to our consciousness. All these messages coming in, stop. Not these messages on my phone that keep popping up. Okay, so the release of global karmic and financial debt in this transmission, let's say what that is us when we're lying in rest in our bed or in meditation or all day. The release of the global karmic and financial debt in relation to this transmission is these golden particles that we talked about over here. Our personality, our lives, our journeys that were more dense. If we put our hand way over there, that was the density of the reality. And as we started to pull our energy back in, those particles started to loosen. They started to become more spacious again. Breaking the bonds of H2O. That's what the guidance told we miracles and cosmic love who walked the planet and prayed with water for 10 years. We were in a ceremony one time and the guidance started coming through and saying, show me how to break the bonds of H2O. That is connected to carbon. So over here is our release of our global karmic and financial debt. As we spoke about earlier in this transmission, sharing our energy is key. Sharing our gifts, not being afraid of each other, not being afraid of being hurt. Just, this is the opening of the energy gates. We were all responsible for the global karmic and financial debt on the planet by holding our energy back. So over here, we're tuning out from that old reality. The adamantine particles, or the particles that form the density of our form, are becoming looser. Release of global karmic and financial debt inside of ourselves, more energy comes back to the center. Now we can begin to take our consciousness and focus it on these realms that begin through particle communication. Particles, golden particles, are communicating to us now. And all we have to do is take our focus off this and focus it on these particles now. And as we said, we want like instant manifestation. Trust we're already in it and it's happening. Our consciousness is reorienting itself to see that and recognize it. It's happening through all the synchronicities. And our consciousness can be impatient, and that's fine. Go into the impatience and ask some more for what we're asking for our reality to be. And as we move more and more of our focus into these particles of communication that are coming in, those realities begin to materialize faster and faster. And we transcend everything that we were leaving over here, because our focus is not giving these golden particles glue anymore to form this personality, these relationships, this reality. There just is no glue. Our consciousness is the glue itself. And as we remember to pull our consciousness back and not give our consent, there just is no glue. If this Lovestream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. Okay, so as we begin to ask for communication with these adamantine particles of new realities coming into form, we are giving our consent to stepping into, and then those realities, those particles come together more quickly to create those forms. The fourth gene again, sorry, we're all these messages popping up. We just want them to stop. There, set our little phone. Okay, so next step. Then with the fourth gene in the Siddhic frequency, and there's no accident that we're sitting right by this mandala that we made and opened the portal on March 21st, 2017, home to benevolent creation in Lyra. It's a very special mandala. So the fourth gene is connected to Vega in Lyra. And benevolence, that word has been key for We Miracles and Cosmic Love on We's journey for many miracle years, because we sat in the presence of benevolent creation. We went through all the stargates on November 22nd, 2015. We went through the aurora. We graduated. We sat in the presence of the star councils, and we're told that if we chose to come back, it would be to unlock the superabundance. That's what this is. Unlocking the superabundance, and the guidance is giving us the coordinates for how to shift the focus of our consciousness to make our way. So back to the fourth gene, because it's connected to Vega and Lyra, and there's the portal home to Vega and Lyra right there. And benevolent creation, because creation is benevolent. That's the most important thing to understand. Maybe somewhere along our journey, we started to feel that creation or God or whoever we called it was not benevolent anymore. But that's only because we gave so much glue and agreement to those realities. We have done a miraculous transformation together. And like we say, if we looked back through, the cosmic Akash onto planet Earth, we would say that March 2020 was truly the miracle jubilee, because that's when we received a cosmic reply from the cosmos to all of our prayers to transcend, to end that old external reality. So if we go onward in the fourth gene, after global karmic and financial debt is released, that's us taking our agreement away from all of that. Now we're in our center. Then it's bringing all the stories to an end. And when we, Miracles and Cosmic Love, were given coordinates on 12-12-16 at Standing Rock, when we had contact, the guidance gave we all these coordinates to bring humanity's relationship with two-strand DNA to an end. And it was all grid work on the planet. And one of the things that we did, one of those transmissions was about a trip to Egypt that we did. And the final part on the journey to Egypt was to go to the top of Mount Sinai and bring all the stories to an end. So we did that in a cosmic way to open up the grid lines for humanity to bring all their stories to an end. Because think about it this way, and this was part of the transmission when we rose this morning. The guidance was going, word it in this way. If we have a story that we own a house and we're paying the mortgage on the house, and we have debt with the bank, that's a very powerful story to keep a reality in place. And there was, in some old reality, a whole lot of people who had that story going on. And so that's a story of agreement. It's a story of us giving our consciousness and our glue to those realities in form. This is why the bringing all the stories to an end piece is essential for all of we. And it doesn't mean that once our consciousness comes to its center, we can still pull coordinates out from those experiences, but they no longer have a linear aspect to them. We're no longer giving them power in a way that holds us in bondage to old realities. We may, in our center, what we say is coming to center is like being a librarian at the center of the cosmic atosh, the entire universe, and having very long arms to reach out and get a book when we're referencing something in it, rather than being bound to the information in that book through linear time. So this is the bringing all the stories to an end. It's like literally cutting the lines. It's going of the energy lines, the glue. It's because one of the things the guidance showed Miracle years ago when we were working on the grids, it was showing this big bowl of spaghetti and going, this is human consciousness right now. It's like all these lines of spaghetti and stories all bound up in a great big bowl. And so the grid work was to go around and diligently, meticulously find out. It's like unfolding. I'm sorry, this little hummingbird wants its food and I'm right under its feeder. Yeah, the work was meticulous to go around like unraveling tangled yarn. That's a lot of what the grid work was about, was helping, going into people's auric fields and seeing what was there and going, okay, we're going to call this out and call that out, because this is like unraveling the yarn. And enough of the yarn was unraveled that by March 2020, humanity could be put into what we call quarantine, which we say equals quantum. Quarantine, so that each being was unraveled enough that their life force energy was not bound by all of these stories, that they could survive long enough to get their field into total sovereign. Because up until that miracle coordinate, humanity was still energetically bound by a big messy spaghetti bowl of energy that, had the quarantine gone down, billions would have died, because their energy, their survival was contingent. Go for it, little hummingbird. We'll be still. We'll let the little hummingbird have a drink. We won't make a move right now. We're Jedi. Oh, it's drinking, drinking, drinking. If we moved the camera to show you, then the little hummingbird would fly away. Oh, you got a good drink. See, we can be friends and sit in harmony and balance. You can be part of the love stream. So cute. Okay. Yeah, had the quarantine gone down before March 2020, and had the meticulous, diligent work of so many grid workers on the planet not gone into place, humanity would have faced an apocalypse of the species for certain. This is all coming through transmission. I didn't know any of this before, but it all makes sense, because the energy fields of most of humanity would have been too interconnected and bound to each other that humanity could not make the quantum leap and survive. And so then March 2020 came along with this thing called quarantine, but it was really an intelligent creation of the higher selves to go, all right, they have enough of their own energy back to themselves that now we can quarantine ourselves, because our higher selves are us, quarantine ourselves to reestablish that connection with Source itself. And that's what happened, and that's what's happening. And this is the part about bringing the old stories to an end. We did enough of that work. Congratulations, humanity. We did enough of that work together that we could collectively make the quantum leap. So, the bringing the stories to an end. If there's any more stories we need to bring to an end right now, Let's do it on all levels in relation to our agreement with any old systems. All those stories, the best one was that example of the mortgage that we spoke about. That is a story inside itself. People might not realize that's a story. Here's another story. I can't go outside myself because we're not supposed to. Because it says somewhere in social media or the news. That's a story. So take the focus out of those particles of creation. Just lie still in your bed, your meditation, whatever. Place the focus over here on these particles that are coming in and communicating with us. It is sentient life source intelligence that is communicating with us now. We are in contact. We are in full contact now. It's just that we thought that we had to see it with the eyes. And here's the thing about the eyes. The eyes see only a limited spectrum of light. So tiny compared to all the light that there is. And so the eyes can deceive us to go, it didn't show up. When there's all these particles communicating with us on all of these levels of creation that are going, are they so dumb? That's a joke. We've never used that word before in a transmission. But it's a joke. Are they so dumb? No, they're joking. But the thing is, what we're saying is, there's all these realms communicating with us now, and they're really inviting us through this transmission to communicate with them now, and they're showing us how to do it. It's all related to this fourth gene. So the unplugging from the stories, because the stories have us potentially over here in some old creation, when they want us to come this way. And these are not stories over here. This is a very important thing to say. We're not creating new stories. We never resonated with new earth or new timelines. We'll just be honest right now. Any channel who's speaking about new earth and new timelines, we invite an upgrade to that languaging, because we're quantum. We don't need a new earth, and we don't need new timelines. And the guidance always said, don't call it earth, because that's the corporatized version of it. Call it Tara or Sophia Gaia. Anyways, those are stories as well. But what we're saying is everything is being broken down inside of us. So don't doubt when intuition comes in. If this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. And we can see this. We didn't expect this today. The guidance when we woke up said we were going into a silent retreat. It's a very profound transmission, because we can see right now this is the bridging way that is occurring, and it is big, and we love to play, and we're really excited about this play because contact is already here. Communication is already happening, and the guidance is showing us. So back to the release of the stories is master cleanse. Yum. Back to the releasing of the stories. Just take a moment to examine any story that we might be telling ourselves. So if our heart says, go outside, go into nature and play, and our mind goes, no, we can't go outside, we're not allowed to, it says so on the news. That's called a story. It's called agreement. It's a story that we have to let go of too. And then, of course, we all know the big stories that we've carried in our life. And it's okay. We're not saying stories are bad. Stories have guided our consciousness through a journey of a storybook kind. It's just that to go quantum, because wait till we share the next piece about the fourth gene. To go quantum, the stories have to be released. So we can see global karmic and financial debt was glued, the story glued together. It had purpose, value, and meaning. We unplug that, more energy comes back to us. Then we unplug from the stories themselves. Now we're in our center. So according to Mr. Richard Rudd in the Gene Keys, and if we went to the I Ching, we could find another way to say it, but he did such a good job at the modern day version of the genes, or the I Ching. The final step in the highest frequency of the fourth gene The CD is the annihilation of the time-space continuum, the fabric of time-space. So it makes sense in everything that we're sharing that we ourselves, our consciousness, this little hummingbird is so friendly now. It's like, whatever, I'm hungry. I don't care if you're in my food area. So yes, we ourselves are the ones at the center of the annihilation of the fabric of time-space. We're going to be still for the hummingbird. So cute. It's like 2 inches from our head. We are at the center of the annihilation. Oops. Hummingbird's wings made the phone fall off. Hang on. See if we get you back here. How, oops, we have it upside down. How funny. We said we. There. We just said that we are directly responsible for the annihilation of the fabric of time-space, and then the phone goes bloop. No, we can't get the, we have it sitting in a very special place. All right, good enough. So that was evidence right there itself that we are responsible for the annihilation of the fabric of time-space itself. And that's why in the final stages of what we called the quarantine, a lot of fear came up, and a lot of people expressed that they had a lot of emotional release this miracle weekend. So it's just normal for the physicality to express itself in what we call fear itself. But it's not really fear, it's just the particles becoming more spacious for the annihilation of the fabric of time-space itself. And obviously, we are creating a new fabric because that's the golden particles over here. This fabric is releasing and the consciousness is flooding in over here to this fabric and these particles that are already formed and forming. This is us as form and formless itself. So today in this transmission, this love stream, the guidance has given us a lot of metaphors, a lot of handholds to instruct our consciousness what is occurring and how to make this transmission or this transition, to make this quantum leap. And so any stories that we're telling ourselves, please just stop telling those stories to ourselves. And if nature is calling you to go outside or to, messages keep coming, stop. I hope that's all right. I'm trying to send all these messages away. People are excited. Help the little phone be in its place. Nice tree in the background. Okay, so yeah, just the stories. Be a responsible creator of creation. Just guide the consciousness just the way you would like a little child walking, learning to walk. Come on. Come on, little consciousness. Just a little bit more out of that old reality. Just a little bit more out of that old creation. Just a little bit more out of that old story. Pack a picnic lunch. Take the kids to the park. Go outside. Walk around. Go to the beach. Because this is where we are. We're in a benevolent reality, in a benevolent creation. And we've just been working to unplug from old fear-based external authoritarian systems and all of those things. And it's a collective consciousness. It's all of us. We're all moving together. Little phone in the wind. So that feels pretty amazing and pretty good sharing, and I'm super grateful for everyone who showed up. This love stream is inspiring. Please share it. That's called gifting. And if you, we also have a link on there for our Cosmic Quantum Creators Pod, so you'll get emails when we're doing spontaneous Zoom calls, or when we're launching transmissions or meditations, etc. And it's growing really fast, that Cosmic Quantum Creators Pod. And if you haven't participated in the Into the Deep meditation, the link is in the notes of this love stream, and it's very profound. It's very powerful for just helping us to take a quantum leap into the quantum field, because people might feel distracted. They might not know how to get to the quantum field themselves. So Into the Deep will take you there right now, and this love stream today was inspired to say, then if you're going, what's next? And we like to say, what miracle, rather than what's next, is we invite to listen to the sharing in this love stream about all this contact that's occurring now through golden particles of creation that's helping to guide the way. So we are in a full contact situation on planet Earth. It may not look like what we expected it to look like or expect it to look like. That's okay. Just know that it's real and it's happening, and that it's through intelligence, supra-intelligent communication of cosmic consciousness that is streaming in. We mentioned the thing about people ringing in the ears and all of those things. So it's super intelligent consciousness coming in. And one of the purposes or points of this love stream sharing today was to help us shift our consciousness to recognize how to interface with this communication that's coming in, because it's like a new kind of communication that's coming in, and it's clearly opening the way. And yes, and if you love to support these transmissions in other ways, we also have a PayPal contribution link on the love stream below. And just to everyone, in any and every way that you're participating in the love streams, bringing your consciousness to join us in group meditations, coming on the Zoom calls, doing work inside of yourself, the PayPal contributions, whatever. It's just all so profound and super appreciated to know that there is such an inspiration now for human consciousness to take the quantum leap, to claim our birthright and to go quantum as form and formless beings, and to create beautiful, miraculous realities of our dreams. So we love we so much, and there's lots more offerings to come. It's very clear that another meditation transmission is going to come out of everything that's coming through right now. As I said, I will add to this notes in this transmission. I'm not sure if we made the golden meditation public or not. I think we just did it with our Cosmic Quantum Creators Pod, but it is on Spreaker. It's currently, if it has a private link, I will make that link available also on this transmission to assist people in every way to make the quantum leap. And it's my great inspiration and honor to be with such inspired cosmic quantum creators of creation and creativity. And I love you all so much. I'm in deep appreciation and gratitude for everything in my personal life, and for the guidance that spirit and formless and all the realms that are bringing, and the contact that is occurring for us. And just really, really, Pod, we are so beautiful. The way that I would summarize the journey through duality is the courage of the human heart to overcome. And I guess I'm inspired to share this little piece because I think it's relevant in my journey of walking the grids and praying with water around the world for many miracle years, and moving water in and out of one little bottle from all these places around the world. On 8/8 Lionsgate of 2018, that water went into the paws of the Sphinx on a very special Pleiadian ley line in the grids. This might sound like a little bit of storytelling, but like we said, if the story is relevant in this miracle coordinate for a purpose, then we can just reach out and get those coordinates without any linear connection or personality connection to them. When I was at Standing Rock, when the elders said to put the first fire out, that their prayers had been answered and that it was tradition for them to put their fire out. And so everyone was gathered around the fire, and I was helping the fire keeper remove all the sacred objects from the carpet that had held all the sacred articles at the sacred fire. And when we removed all the articles from the carpet, the fire keeper placed the carpet around my neck. It was a long, thin carpet, like a scarf, and he looked me in the eyes and said, "This is yours now, sister. Take it and go pray with it." And so I went to the earth, to the snow and the ice, and I prayed for unity and for all life. And I thought that I was going to give that carpet back to the ancestors of Crazy Horse, who were the youth who they would not let the fire go out, and they lit a new flame. From that flame, they started a new fire, and they called it the Unity Flame. They said it was the people's fire. And so they lit that the next day, and it seemed to me natural that I would just take that carpet and give it to them. And when I went to do that, the guidance said, "No, you're not. You're going to keep the carpet, because this is the root races handing the baton back to the Star Nations to get us all the way through the gates." And so I kept the carpet, and I did ceremonies with the carpet in very special places on the earth. And the final place was the morning of 8/8 Lionsgate 2018, in the grids of a very specific Sphinx that is made to the exact proportions of the Great Sphinx. And it was on a very special ley line, Pleiadian ley line. And of course, we're quantum, and none of these things are real, and they don't exist in the quantum. And on that day, I was guided to take my sacred water that I had gathered and moved from all around the earth from 10 miracle years, and roll it up, wrap it inside that carpet, and place the carpet back into the earth. And the reason that I'm sharing this is because that was a very significant moment for me after dedicating 10 years of my life to walking the planet and praying with water, to put that water into the earth. The guidance said it was the last ceremony that I would do with that sacred water. And as I did it, the guidance said, "You came to return the human story to love." And that was my last prayer into that bottle of water, and water holds memory for all of us. To return the human story to love. And then going to the top of Mount Sinai and bringing all of the stories to completion for humanity. Opening those gateways for us to be #done. With that aspect of ourselves called water, H2O. And that's why I was guided to ask how to break the bonds of H2O, because H2O is part of our carbon reality, and we are going plasma, cosmic, quantum now. So thank you for allowing me to share that beautiful piece, that transmission, and in celebration now of our human family as cosmic quantum love, and on the precipice of a massive cosmic quantum leap together. So if you joined in this transmission at any point, thank you so much. If it's inspiring, please share it, and let us begin to ask, and it is given, as we did during this transmission, for that communion, for the communion with these adamantine particles of creation. This is contact. They don't look like little gray aliens, although I must say the other day, Victoire and I were preparing something for our Cosmic Quantum Creators, and we were doing a process of contact, and we Miracles in Cosmic Love ended up on a really cool ship, which was all neon blue and with large blue-headed beings with slanted eyes. And we Miracles in Cosmic Love was making the joke, because we always say Pleiades for blueberry spirulina popcorn. We were saying that they were the blueberry ETs, and maybe they were. But we ended up on their ship, and as we are asking for contact, because ask and it is given, and as we are calling it in and saying welcome, we welcome all benevolent contact, benevolent star nations. Harry, the portal hopping wizard. As we are asking for contact with all benevolent star nations, they are asking for contact with us as well. And so when we discovered ourselves on this miraculous blue ship with these miraculous, beautiful blue beings, they were welcoming me, and they were so excited as well, just as we are for contact as well. And as we know, contact occurs in all ways, and contact is always occurring, because all things are connected through love. And we are surrounded by all sorts of beautiful creatures and in creation, like the hummingbirds and the deer and the clouds and the wind and the water and all of that. And we are just a collective that is opening the veils for a mass quantum leap of consciousness. So thank you all for showing up. I love you so much. And yeah, really felt a new name was coming in this morning, and so beautiful and profound, and love we so, so much. Let's ask, and it is given, for communication with these golden particles of creation, this divine emanation of cosmic love that is flooding our supra-intelligent consciousness, because our physical bodies are now fully waking and woken up to receive this kind of communion through the bodies of our love. We love you so much on all 9 levels of creation and beyond. Thank we all for tuning in, and check out the links. We'll add the golden link after to the notes if you haven't heard that meditation. And yeah, and with the Into the Deep meditation, just regardless, time isn't real, but let's connect into the 1111 frequency every time we go into the Deep meditation. And we Miracles in Cosmic Love are making a habit of doing it at 11 a.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Pacific. So we are a morphogenic field. So good to see all of we Miracles in Cosmic Love. Okay, we'll do what we like to do on our Zoom calls. 3, 2, 1. Miracles.